We need to secure the starboard wing panel by 0800.
Acknowledged. We're running final diagnostics on the hydraulics now.
It begins in the cold. At the far end of a spotless white factory, a technician in a full cleanroom suit unlatches a heavy freezer door. Frost cracks along the stainless steel surface as it swings open, and a low fog of frozen vapor spills across the linoleum floor. Inside, massive black rolls of carbon pre-preg lie sleeping at 18 degree, half-ton cylinders of frozen potential, waiting for their one chance to become a flying wing. A gloved hand slices open a crinkled silver vacuum bag with a ceramic cutter. The matte black IM7 carbon tape inside catches the clinical light. The resin surface just tacky enough to whisper as the packaging peels away. An automated guided vehicle slides in, lifts the roll tool, and glides silently over polished epoxy. Amber warning light blinking as it follows its invisible magnetic tracks toward the heart of the line. There, a machine the size of a building is waiting. An automated fiber placement gantry looms over a curved Invar mold, the ghost of a wing, 172 feet from idea to implication. The AFP head descends and begins to weave. Tiny toes of carbon tape are laid down in perfect overlapping paths. The compaction roller presses at high pressure, each strip kissing the mold with a faint tacky sound. From above, the pattern looks like a giant technical fabric. 0 degree, 45 degree, 90 degree, strength, stiffness, stability woven into black. When the machine pauses, humans step in. 3 technicians in white bunny suits lean over a tight corner, breath fogging their face shields. Under a magnifier, a small bridge in the fiber appears. A wrinkle no aircraft at this level is allowed to keep. A Teflon spatula glides in, smoothing the carbon like wet cloth until every toe lies perfectly flat. For all the robotics and automation, the difference between acceptable and flawless still lives in a pair of steady hands. Hours compress into seconds. Layer by layer, the wing skin thickens in time-lapse, 50-plus plies accumulating, the edge growing from a thin sheet to a structural shell. Lighting shifts. The AFP head sweeps back and forth relentlessly, a gigantic 3D printer for stealth geometry. Then comes the core. Golden sheets of Nomex honeycomb are carried in, light as air but rigid in the hand. Technicians lower them onto the uncured carbon, chamfered edges meeting the skin with perfect alignment. Potting compound fills the transitions. Hexagonal cells line up like microscopic architecture, every angle chosen, every void controlled. The entire assembly disappears under a pink shroud. Nylon vacuum bagging film falls over the enormous black wing like a translucent veil. Wrinkles are chased away by gloved hands. Yellow tacky tape seals the perimeter. Hoses attach and hiss, and suddenly the film collapses tight around the structure. The honeycomb texture and stringers imprint through the plastic. The shape of the future bomber trapped inside a thin, crinkled skin. On steel rails, the bagged wing rolls toward the mouth of a giant autoclave. The door, a massive circular slab of steel, rotates and locks into place with hydraulic thuds. Inside, the pressure climbs, the temperature rises. Through a thick glass window, you can see heat shimmer twist the view of the darkening bag as 350 degrees and 85 psi turn soft resin and loose layers into one solid, bonded structure. In a nearby control room, a cure cycle graph crawls slowly across a monitor, a quiet, digital heartbeat of the process. When the door opens again, steam and hot air billow out. The pink bag is now brown and brittle, crackling as it cools. Workers rip it away in sharp, plastic bursts, revealing a gleaming black surface beneath. A textured peel ply layer is stripped off like high-tech tape, zipping back to expose a pristine matte finish ready for bonding and paint. The wing skin lifts from the tool not by muscle but by vacuum. Suction cups clamp onto the surface, and a gantry crane hoists the panel into the air. It floats above the white floor, massive yet controlled, shadows stretching underneath. The rough edges are trimmed in a robotic water jet cell, where an invisible blade of water and garnet carves through carbon, spraying black slurry against safety glass. Ultrasonic inspection follows. A C-scan probe glides across the wet skin, sending sound into the structure. On a screen, hidden layers appear as color-coded maps. A void pops into view, just a small patch of porosity. A technician marks its location on the real wing with a white grease pencil, translating pixels into a single, decisive X on black. Now the skeleton meets the skin. Titanium bulkheads stand in rigid assembly jigs, gray metal ribs waiting for their armor. The composite skins are lowered onto them, and drills bite through carbon and titanium in one pass. Black dust and silver chips spiral together as titanium fasteners, sealant slick, are pushed in and torqued from inside cramped wing bays. Pneumatic tools bark in confined spaces, collars snap off at precise torque, leaving nothing but smooth heads and hidden strength. Laser trackers sweep green beams across the structure, checking profiles and stealth-critical angles. Hydraulic jacks nudge massive assemblies until measured reality drapes perfectly over the invisible digital model. Engines slide into deep bays, their complex metal organs disappearing behind honeycomb panels and curved ducting. Hydraulic lines, fuel pipes, and wiring harnesses bloom into dense, purposeful chaos before being tied down, terminated, shielded, and sealed. Black avionics boxes rack into equipment bays like servers, connected by gold-plated pins and bundles of braided wire. On the outside, stealth is sculpted. Conductive tape hides fasteners. Radar-absorbent putty fills seams and is sculpted flat, then sanded under vacuum until the surface feels like a single continuous curve. The aircraft is towed into a red-lit paint booth, where robotic arms spray conductive primer and specialized RAM coatings in shimmering metallic clouds. Layer by layer, the bomber darkens, its surface turning into a light-absorbing, radar-bending skin. Masking tape peels away from canopy glass and sensors, leaving crisp edges and the strange glow of gold-tinted transparency. Final checks, gear swing tests, no step stencils in barely visible gray, canopy polish until not a single streak remains. A line of workers walks the hangar for foreign object debris, heads down, eyes scanning for anything that doesn't belong. Safety, here, is as ritualized as any ceremony. Then the doors open. Twilight blue spills into the hangar. Wind gusts across the floor as the B-2 is towed out into the night, twin floodlights firing harsh white across its matte skin. On the wet tarmac, the bomber looks more like a shadow than an object, its outline a razor-thin wedge against mist and glare. The tow bar drops. Ground crew step back. APU whine rises. Heat shimmer glows behind the exhaust ports. Engine fans begin to spin, slowly, then faster, until they blur. The aircraft vibrates against its chocks, restrained power humming through steel and carbon. Taxi lights spear through the fog. The B-2 rolls, turns, and aligns with the runway center line. From behind, runway lights dissolve into waves of heat as throttles advance to military power. The bomber surges forward, spray fanning out from its wheels, the nose lifting as speed builds. And then, quietly, it leaves the ground. The gear retracts, doors close, and the flying wing becomes a single, uninterrupted shape slicing through the night. From above, it banks over a dark landscape, a strange, tailless silhouette skimming beneath the moon. Hours later, when it returns, it does so almost silently, landing lights appearing out of nothing, a whispering approach, a puff of blue tire smoke as wheels meet runway. A drag chute blossoms, collapses, and is gathered up. The mission, training, test, or something that will never be spoken aloud is over. Back at the hangar, the massive doors begin to close. The B-2 sits motionless as the gap narrows, the strip of outside light shrinking to a line, then a sliver. Its matte skin swallows reflections until even the aircraft itself seems to fade. The doors meet. The light disappears. And in the darkness behind them, a story made of carbon, heat, code, and silence is hidden away until the next frozen roll is pulled from the cold and the whole process begins again.